Get out, you little street rat. You think a maid's kid like you belongs in my boardroom? You're nothing but a black charity case staining my carpet. Victor Harlan's voice thundered across the polished mahogany table, his face twisted in contempt as he jabbed a finger at Aaliyah Thompson. The 12-year-old girl froze, her small hands clutching the hem of her faded hoodie, but her dark eyes locked onto his without flinching. The room, a sleek Manhattan penthouse office at Harlan Tech, erupted in stunned silence from the executives. But Harlan didn't stop. He slammed his fist down, papers scattering like shrapnel. Security, drag this intruder out before she turns this billion-dollar deal into a joke. We don't need your kind meddling in real business. Aaliyah had only meant to help. She'd been in the hallway, helping her mother mop up a coffee spill from the frantic pre-meeting chaos, when the interpreter stormed out mid-argument, cursing in a mix of Arabic and Mandarin. The deal, a $1 billion tech merger with international partners from Dubai, Beijing, and Paris, was crumbling without translation. Voices overlapped in panic. "We lose this. We're bankrupt," one exec barked. Aaliyah, who had taught herself 7 languages from library books and free apps to escape the grind of Queen's poverty, stepped forward. "I can translate," she said firmly, her voice cutting through the din like a blade. Skeptical glances turned to desperation as she seamlessly relayed the Dubai delegate's demands in flawless Arabic, then switched to French for the Parisian investor, nailing complex terms on data encryption and liability clauses. The room held its breath, the deal stabilized, signatures hovered over contracts. But Harlan, the 60-year-old CEO with a legacy built on cutthroat deals and unspoken biases, saw red. To him, she wasn't a savior. She was an embarrassment, a black girl from the cleaning staff invading his white-collar fortress. "You heard me, kid. Your mom's lucky I don't fire her on the spot for letting you wander in here like some affirmative action prop." He cut off her attempt to explain, waving security forward. Guards gripped her arms, yanking her toward the door. "Please, sir, I just—" Aaliyah started, but Harlan interrupted with a sneer. "Save it for the welfare line. Out!" The boardroom doors slammed shut behind her, echoes of his laughter rippling through. Outside, Aaliyah's mother, Janice, pulled her into a fierce hug, her calloused hands trembling. "Baby, why'd you do that?" Janice whispered, fear etching her face. Years of scrubbing floors for men like Harlan had taught her silence was survival. Aaliyah straightened, jaw set. "Because no one else could, Mom, and I won't let them pretend I didn't." As they hurried down the elevator, whispers from staff followed. "That girl just saved us all." But Harlan's words burned in Aaliyah's chest, a fire of injustice fueling her resolve. The incident spread like wildfire through the building's underbelly, the janitors, secretaries, and overlooked workers who knew the truth. In the break room later that evening, Aaliyah sat with her mother, replaying the scene. "He called me nothing, Mom, but I spoke their languages better than any suits there." Janice nodded, pride warring with worry. "You did, honey, but men like him, they don't like being shown up, especially by us." Aaliyah's mind raced. She'd always used languages as armor against the world's dismissals, the taunts at school, the stares on the subway. Now that armor had cracked under Harlan's assault, but it hadn't broken her. Instead, it sharpened her edge. Back in his office, Harlan paced, the signed contracts mocking him from his desk. A nagging doubt crept in. Had he really needed to humiliate her like that? But he shoved it down, dialing his PR team. "Bury this. Make sure no one hears about some kid stealing the spotlight." Little did he know, the seeds of regret were already sprouting, and Aaliyah's quiet strength was about to ignite a storm he couldn't control. As the night fell over Manhattan, Aaliyah lay in her cramped Queens bedroom, staring at the ceiling cracks that mirrored her fractured day. The city's hum outside, sirens wailing, neighbors arguing, felt like an extension of the boardroom chaos. She pulled out her notebook, scribbling translations of the deal's key phrases, not out of bitterness, but to prove to herself she was right. "They think I'm nothing," she murmured, "but words are power, and I've got more than they know." Her mother peeked in, offering a cup of tea. "Sleep, Aaliyah. Tomorrow's another fight." But sleep evaded her. Instead, visions of Harlan's sneer fueled a determination that would soon upend everything. In that moment, the girl who had saved a $1 billion empire realized she might have to save herself first, from a system designed to crush voices like hers. You'll regret this, Mr. Harlan. Someday your empire will crumble without voices like mine, and you'll beg for the nothing you just threw away. Aaliyah's words sliced through the boardroom's heavy air like a whip crack, her voice steady despite the guard's iron grip on her arms. She didn't scream or beg. Instead, her chin lifted defiantly, eyes boring into Harlan's with a fire that made him flinch inwardly. The CEO barked back, "Regret? From a brat like you? Get her out, now!" But as the doors slammed, her prophecy hung there, a dagger in the silence, twisting in his gut even as he forced a laugh for the execs. Aaliyah didn't crumble in the hallway. Her teeth clenched so hard her jaw ached, channeling the humiliation into fuel. "Let go!" she snapped at the guards, wrenching free with a surge of adrenaline that surprised them. Janice, her mother, rushed forward, face ashen, grabbing her daughter's hand. "Aaliyah, hush! Don't make it worse!" But Aaliyah shook her head, refusing tears. "Worse? He already did that, Mom, but I won't break for him." They hustled to the service elevator, the building's sterile hum mocking their exit. Whispers from passing staff like, "She nailed that translation," clashing with Harlan's venom still echoing in her ears. In the subway ride back to Queens, Aaliyah sat rigid, fists balled in her lap. The train rattled like her thoughts, each jolt replaying the scene. Harlan's finger jabbing, his words branding her as nothing. Janice squeezed her knee. "You were brave, baby, but men like him, they own the world." Aaliyah's response came sharp. "Not my world. I spoke 7 languages in there. Arabic mid-sentence to French without missing a beat. That's power he can't buy." Her mother nodded, but worry lines deepened. Years of bowing to bosses had scarred her, teaching survival over fight. Aaliyah, though, felt a spark ignite, defiance blooming from the ashes of insult. Arriving at their cramped apartment, the door creaked shut like a final slam. Aaliyah dropped her backpack, pacing the tiny living room cluttered with secondhand books and faded photos of her late father, a brilliant engineer fired years ago under suspicious circumstances. "He thinks I'm a charity case. I'll show him what staining his carpet really means." She grabbed her notebook, flipping to dog-eared pages of vocabulary lists, Swahili idioms for resilience, Mandarin phrases on justice. Janice watched, heart pounding. "Eat something first. You need strength." But Aaliyah dove in, murmuring translations aloud, her voice gaining edge with each word. "No, Mom. Strength comes from this, from knowing they can't erase what I know." As evening deepened, neighbors knocked. Word had spread via building gossip. "Heard you saved a big deal, kid," one said. But Aaliyah waved it off, her focus laser sharp. She practiced aloud. In German, Unrecht means injustice, fitting for Harlan. Her hands trembled slightly, not from fear, but rage compressed into action. Janice brewed tea, sharing stories of her own humiliations. "I swallowed it all to keep this roof, but you're different." Aaliyah met her eyes. "That's why I can't swallow it. If I do, nothing changes." The conversation turned raw, Aaliyah admitting the sting. "It hurt, Mom, like he stripped me bare in front of them." But she straightened, hammering resolve. "Won't happen again. I'll build armor thicker than his wallet." By bedtime, Aaliyah lay awake, the city's distant sirens fueling her vigil. She envisioned Harlan's face, not in defeat, but realization, her words echoing back to haunt him. "One day he'll need someone like me," she whispered, clutching her notebook like a weapon. Janice peeked in, whispering, "Sleep, warrior." But Aaliyah's mind raced ahead, plotting silent rebellions. More languages, more knowledge, unbreakable spirit. The humiliation hadn't crushed her. It forged her sharper, ready to pierce the veil of privilege. In that quiet defiance, a seed planted, her unyielding stance a mirror Harlan couldn't yet face, but soon would shatter his illusions. As sleep finally claimed her, dreams swirled with boardrooms turned battlegrounds, her voice the unyielding force. "Play it back now. I want to see exactly how that little pest saved us before I bury her story for good." Harlan's command barked at his assistant, his knuckles white as he gripped the desk edge. The boardroom still reeking of fresh ink from the billion-dollar contracts. The screen flickered to life, replaying the chaos. Partners jabbering in Arabic, French, Mandarin. Then Aaliyah's voice cutting in, precise, unflinching. She translated liability clauses with surgical accuracy, her small frame commanding the room as execs nodded in relief. Harlan's face drained of color. His sneer from earlier now mocked him on loop. "Stop it," he snapped. But the doubt stabbed deep. Had he just humiliated the one person who pulled them from the brink? He paced the empty boardroom, shadows lengthening as Manhattan's skyline glittered mockingly outside. His chest tightened, a vice of regret squeezing harder with each step. "She's just a kid, a maid's kid," he muttered, but the words tasted hollow. The video evidence burned. Aaliyah switching languages mid-sentence, nailing tech jargon like quantum encryption protocols that even his hired interpreters fumbled. Execs had whispered approval during the replay. One even muttered, "She outshone us all." Harlan slammed the remote down, shattering the silence. Damn it, why didn't I see it? But he knew, his bias, that ingrained reflex to dismiss anyone not in a suit, especially a black girl from Queens. It wasn't just embarrassment, it was a crack in his armor, exposing the fragility of his empire built on exclusion. Harlan's mind flashed to his own rise. Ruthless deals, stepping over lessers like her father, the engineer he'd fired years ago for insubordination. A twinge hit him. Was this karma? He rifled through his desk drawer for distraction, fingers brushing an old USB drive labeled Archive Thompson Project. He plugged it in absent-mindedly, files popping up, encrypted emails about a shady data deal from a decade back. "What the hell is this?" he growled, but dismissed it as irrelevant clutter, yanking it out. Yet the seed planted, a mysterious detail lurking, tied to Aaliyah's family without him knowing. Regret gnawed deeper. He imagined her eyes, that defiant stare prophesying his downfall. "No," he hissed, dialing security. "Find out where she lives. I need to fix this." But his voice cracked, the command lacking its usual bite. Meanwhile, in his limo crawling through traffic, Harlan's phone buzzed with texts from board members. That girl's translation was gold. Why humiliate her? He ignored them, but the knot in his stomach twisted. Flashes of his youth hit, being overlooked himself once, fueling his climb. Now he'd become the oppressor. "Pull over," he ordered the driver, stepping into the night air, but the city's pulse only amplified his unease. Back at home, in his sterile penthouse, he poured scotch, staring at the video thumbnail. Aaliyah's face stared back, unyielding. She was right. I needed her, he admitted to the empty room, the words choking him. Regret surged, hot and unyielding. He'd crushed a spark that saved him, all for pride laced with prejudice. The USB sat on his desk, its contents a ticking bomb he couldn't yet hear. Harlan tossed in bed that night, her prophecy echoing. Your empire will crumble. Sweat beaded on his forehead. He envisioned the deal unraveling without her intervention. Bankruptcy headlines screaming his name. I have to find her, he resolved, the decision a hammer blow to his ego. But doubt lingered. Was this redemption or self-preservation? As dawn crept over the skyline, Harlan dressed with purpose, the first threads of Hoi Han weaving into action. Little did he know that overlooked USB held echoes of past sins, ready to unravel everything. The weight of his mistake pressed like a vice, forcing Harlan to confront the mirror. His reflection, a man eroded by bias, now chasing shadows of the girl he dismissed. In Queens, miles away, Aaliyah slept fitfully, her notebook clutched tight, unaware that her words had already ignited the fuse. Harlan's search would begin at dawn, pulling him into a world he'd always ignored, where regret was just the opening salvo in a war he never saw coming. Find her now, or I'll have your badge melted down and poured over your damn desk. Harlan's roar exploded at the security chief over the phone, his fist pounding the penthouse desk so hard the scotch glass shattered, shards embedding in his palm like accusations. Blood trickled, but he ignored it, rage fueling his every breath as he paced, the USB from earlier mocking him from the drawer. Regret had morphed into obsession overnight. Aaliyah's prophecy clawed at him, her defiant eyes haunting his fitful sleep. She's in Queens. Track the mother's badge logs. I need her address before dawn. The chief stammered compliance, but Harlan cut him off. No excuses. Fail, and you're gone. He hung up, veins bulging. The hunt begun. Not for redemption yet, but to silence the gnawing void her words had carved. Harlan didn't wait idle. He stormed to his computer, fingers flying over keys, pulling employee files on Janice Thompson. Maid, single mom, daughter Aaliyah, age 12. His lip curled in reflexive disdain, but the video replay from the boardroom stabbed back, her seamless translations saving his ass. How the hell does a kid like that know 7 languages? He growled, slamming the laptop shut. Doubt surged. He'd built Harlan Tech on dismissing inferiors, but this girl had exposed his blindness. He grabbed his coat, barking at his driver. Queens, now! The limo screeched into the night, Harlan's mind a whirlwind of justifications. Just business. Tie up loose ends. But his fist clenched, knuckles whitening, as the skyline faded into gritty streets. Arriving in Queens, the contrast hit like a punch. Crumbling buildings, graffiti-scarred walls, the pulse of survival he'd always ignored. Harlan stepped out, suit clashing with the neighborhood's raw edge, drawing stares from locals. Where's the Thompson place? He demanded of a corner store owner, who eyed him suspiciously. Who wants to know? Harlan flashed a $100 bill. Me, CEO, urgent. The owner pocketed it, pointing, Apartment 4B up those stairs. But watch yourself. Folks here don't take kindly to suits. Harlan charged up, heart hammering, each step amplifying his unease. Regret twisting into something sharper, a fear of what he'd find. Knocking on the door, no answer. He pounded harder, jaw set. A neighbor cracked her door. They ain't home. Janice at work. Kid at the library. Harlan's frustration boiled. Library at this hour? The woman sneered. Yeah, genius. Girls always buried in books. Try the public one on the 89th. He spun away, cursing under his breath, the dominoes falling, his impatience triggering more resistance. Back in the limo, he dialed his PI. Tail her, discreetly. I need eyes on the girl. But as he waited, flashes hit, his own youth in a similar hood, clawing out through sheer will, now corrupted into the oppressor. What am I doing? He muttered, but shoved it down, focusing on control. Hours later, the PI reported, spotted her at the library, teaching languages to other kids. Free class. She's sharp, boss. Harlan's gut twisted, not broken, but thriving. He drove there himself, parking across the street, watching through tinted windows. Aaliyah inside, animated, switching from Spanish to Korean, kids hanging on her every word. Her laughter pierced him, pure, unyielding strength. Regret hammered harder. He'd crushed that spark publicly, yet here she shone. She's building her own empire, he whispered, fists unclenching for the first time. But pride warned, can't let her expose my weakness. He stepped out, approaching the entrance, but hesitated, pulse racing. A kid excitedly bumped him. Watch it, old man, Harlan snapped back. Mind your elders. But the retort echoed hollow, mirroring his boardroom bark. Inside, Aaliyah spotted him through the window, her eyes narrowing. She didn't run, stood firm, arms crossed. Harlan pushed in. We need to talk. But she cut him off. Here, in my space? The standoff ignited. He grabbed her arm lightly, but she yanked free. Touch me again, and I'll scream. Regret flashed in his eyes, but he pressed. I made a mistake. Come with me. Kids watched, tension crackling. Aaliyah's jaw tightened, decision flickering. Defiance versus curiosity. Fine, but on my terms. They stepped outside, Harlan's limo idling like a predator. In the car, silence stretched, broken by his gruff. You were right, I needed you. But Aaliyah's stare demanded more, her silence a blade. The drive back to Manhattan dragged, Harlan probing. How'd you learn those languages? She answered curtly. Books, apps, survival. Each word pricked his conscience, revealing her world's harsh edges. At his office, he offered water, But she refused. Just say what you want. Regret poured out haltingly. I humiliated you for nothing. But Aaliyah's response sliced. For your ego, your bias. He winced, the truth landing like blows. As they talked, he pulled file, showing the deal's success. You did this. Her nod was grudging, but a crack formed, mutual respect budding. Yet the USB nagged at him, untouched in his pocket. Harlan's search had led here, but deeper shadows loomed, pulling him toward truths he wasn't ready for. As Aaliyah left, her parting shot, fix it publicly or it's meaningless. Harlan watched her go, the hunt over, but the real journey just ignited, regret evolving into a reluctant alliance. Back off, mister. Ain't no suits welcome here unless you're fixing the leaks, not causing them. The neighborhood kid's shout exploded at Harlan as he lingered near the library exit, his limo a glaring intruder in Queen's gritty pulse. But inside, Aaliyah didn't flinch at the commotion. She slammed her book shut, spine straight, eyes flashing defiance that mirrored her boardroom stand. Ignore him, she barked to her young students, her voice a whip-cracking order into the room's charged air. The kids, a ragtag group of immigrant children, faces hungry for knowledge, froze. But Aaliyah moved like lightning, stacking chairs with forceful thuds, each one echoing her unbroken resolve. Harlan's parting words from the car still burned. Fix it publicly. She wouldn't wait. Her world demanded action now, not apologies from above. Aaliyah dove back into her routine, muscles taut from the encounter, channeling fury into motion. Next lesson. Mandarin for justice. Gongjiang. Say it, the kids repeated, their voices rising in unison, her commands slicing through any lingering tension. She paced the cramped library corner, fingers snapping rhythms to drill phrases. Arabic for resilience, French for equality. Sweat beaded on her forehead, but she wiped it away with a fierce swipe, refusing weakness. You think words are just sounds? No, they're weapons. Harlan tried to strip mine. Don't let anyone take yours. A boy hesitated. But he called you nothing. Aaliyah cut him off sharp. And I proved him wrong. Now prove yourselves. Her jaw clenched, the humiliation fueling her drive, turning pain into power for these kids who mirrored her struggles. Janice burst in later, face etched with exhaustion from her shift, grabbing Aaliyah's arm. That man, Harlan, here? What did he want? Aaliyah yanked free but softened. Apology. Weak one. Said he'd fix it. Janice's eyes narrowed, fists balling. Don't trust him, baby. Men like that swallow us whole. But Aaliyah shook her head, resolving hardening like steel. Won't happen. I'm building something he can't touch. She thrust a flyer into her mother's hand. Community class tomorrow. Teaching Swahili basics. Free for all. Janice's worry cracked into pride. You're unstoppable. Aaliyah's response came fierce. Have to be. For Dad. For us. Evening hit, and Aaliyah charged home. Backpack slung like armor, dodging street hassles with quick sidesteps. In the apartment, she attacked dinner prep, knife-chopping vegetables with rhythmic fury, each slice venting the day's sting. Mom, remember Dad's stories? How he engineered breakthroughs, only to get fired for not fitting? Janice nodded, stirring stew. Yeah, bias broke him. Aaliyah's knife paused, grip tightening. Won't break me. I'll engineer my own breakthroughs. She set the table with deliberate slams, turning chores into declarations, her mind racing ahead to lesson plans that empowered, not erased. Neighbors filtered in uninvited, drawn by gossip. Heard you face down that CEO, one woman barked. Aaliyah didn't dodge. She confronted. Faced him? I saved his deal. Then he spat on me. Laughter erupted, but she pivoted. Join my class, learn to spit back with words. They stayed, her energy pulling them in, debates firing like gunshots. Spanish retorts to discrimination, Korean demands for respect. Aaliyah moderated with iron control, fists gesturing emphatically, her voice rising in crescendos that silenced doubts. We're not victims. We're victors waiting. A girl whispered, You scared? Aaliyah's laugh barked out, Scared. Furious. Use it. Her pulse thrummed, the group's admiration stoking her fire, proving Harlan's dismissal hadn't dimmed her light. Bedtime came, but Aaliyah didn't rest. She hunched over her notebook, scribbling furiously, pages filling with hybrid lessons, blending languages and life hacks. Harlan thinks I'm done? Watch this. Her pen scratched relentlessly, ideas exploding. A podcast on voices from the margins, starting with her story. Janice watched from the door. Slow down, warrior. But Aaliyah's head snapped up. Can't. Momentum now. Or never. Exhaustion tugged, but she fought it, muscles aching from the day's battles, yet spirit unyielding. Dreams invaded eventually, vivid clashes where she commanded boardrooms, her words toppling empires. Morning broke with Aaliyah bolting upright, grabbing books, charging to the community center. Kids waited, eyes eager. She launched in, today, Italian for revenge, vendetta, but twist it, use it for justice. Her demonstrations punched the air, fists emphasizing points, sweat flying as she role-played confrontations. Imagine facing your Harlan. Speak! The room erupted in practice shouts, her leadership unbreakable, turning her pain into their shield. A mentor figure, an old librarian, pulled her aside. You're a force, girl. But watch. Power draws predators. Aaliyah's nod was curt. Let 'em come. I'm ready. In this whirlwind of activity, Aaliyah's world pulsed with raw energy. Her resilience, a beacon Harlan's search had illuminated but couldn't claim. As she wrapped the session, applause thundering, a new contact buzzed. Harlan's number. We talk again. Soon. Her delete was swift, but curiosity flickered, linking back to his reluctant alliance, hinting at deeper ties waiting to unravel. Admit it, Harlan. You need me now, don't you? Crawling back after spitting in my face like I'm trash. Aaliyah's accusation lashed out as Harlan stepped into the community center's dim back room, her arms crossed tight, body coiled like a spring ready to snap. Harlan halted, his face flushing red, but he didn't retreat. Instead, he fired back. Watch your tone, kid. I came to apologize, not beg. But Aaliyah cut him off mid-breath. Apologize with what? More insults? Save it. The air crackled, her defiance slamming against his crumbling pride, each word a domino toppling his defenses. Harlan's fists balled, veins throbbing, but regret won out. He dropped to one knee, eye level with her. I was wrong, dead wrong. You saved my company, billions on the line, and you nailed it. I humiliated you for nothing but my ego. His voice cracked, the admission ripping from him like a confession under duress. Aaliyah's jaw locked, her nails digging into her palms, but she didn't yield. Ego, try racism. You saw my skin, my mom's job, and decided I was beneath you. Harlan winced, the truth hitting like a gut punch. Yes, damn it, yes, I see that now. The video, your translations were flawless. I can't undo it, but I can make it right. He reached for her shoulder, but she slapped his hand away. Don't touch me, words first, public ones. The standoff intensified. Harlan rose, pacing with heavy steps, his shoes thudding like judgments. Public? Fine. Press release tomorrow. Heroic young translator saves Harlan Tech deal. Your name in lights? Aaliyah's eyes narrowed, suspicion flaring. And what else? You think that's enough? She advanced, finger jabbing his chest. Support my classes. Fun books. Space for kids like me. No strings. Harlan nodded sharply. Done. Scholarships too, for you, for them. But doubt flickered in her glare. Why now? Scared I'll talk? He met her stare. Scared I broke something unbreakable. You remind me of who I used to be before the suits poisoned me. As tension eased a fraction, Aaliyah's mentor, the retired lawyer, Mr. Ellis, burst in, cane thumping. What's this intruder doing here? Aaliyah held up a hand. Apologizing, sort of. Ellis's eyes bored into Harlan. Better be real, son. I've seen your kind chew up girls like her. Harlan straightened, defensiveness surging. Real as it gets. I owe her. The room pulsed, alliances shifting. Aaliyah paced now, her breath short and sharp, weighing his words against her wounds. One more condition. Tell the truth about my dad. Why'd you fire him? Harlan froze, face paling. Your dad? Thompson? The engineer? Insubordination, that's all. But his evasion cracked, sweat beading. At that moment, Aaliyah spotted it, a bulge in Harlan's pocket, the USB drive peeking out. What's that? She demanded, lunging forward. Harlan yanked back. Nothing, old junk. But she snatched it, fingers like vices, popping it into the center's ancient computer. Files loaded, encrypted emails dated a decade back. Thompson Project, data leaks? Aaliyah's voice rose, decoding snippets in her head. Harlan grabbed it. Give that back. It's confidential. But Ellis blocked him. Hold on. Kid's onto something. Aaliyah's hands flew over keys, her multilingual brain piecing fragments. Spanish notes on unethical sourcing, French memos on silencing whistleblowers. This is about Dad. He found your dirty deals, didn't he? Fired him to cover up. Harlan's denial exploded. No, wait. But Aaliyah interrupted. Liar. Here's the email. Terminate Thompson before he talks. You ruined my family. Her fist slammed the desk, the revelation detonating like a bomb, tears stinging but unshed, rage overriding pain. Harlan staggered back, hands raised. I didn't know the details. My VP handled it. But the lie crumbled under her glare. Bull, you signed off. Ellis nodded. This changes everything. Lawsuit material. Harlan's shoulders slumped, defeat crashing in. Fine, I'll investigate, with you, but peace first. Aaliyah's nod was grudging. Peace? Conditional. Help expose this, or I go public alone. The alliance forged in fire. Harlan extended a hand, but Aaliyah ignored it, pocketing the USB. Start by funding tonight. Books arrive tomorrow. He agreed, wiring funds on his phone, the transfer beep sealing the uneasy truce. As he left, Harlan muttered, You're tougher than I ever was. Aaliyah's retort followed. Had to be. Thanks to you. Ellis pulled her aside. Smart move, but watch him. Secrets like this? They bite back. She clutched the drive, pulse racing, the mysterious detail unlocking doors to buried sins. In the quiet aftermath, Aaliyah's mind whirled. The USB a key to her father's legacy, linking Harlan's regret to a larger web of betrayal. As she locked up, determination hardened. Peace bought time, but truth would demand more, pulling them into shadows neither anticipated. Stay out of this, you meddling little affirmative action token. Harlan Tech isn't your playground, and neither is my family's legacy. The VP's voice erupted like a gunshot in the executive lounge, his fingers stabbing at Aaliyah's chest, face contorted in raw contempt as he blocked her path to Harlan's office. Harlan's distant cousin, Reginald Harlan, 50s, slick-haired, with a predatory glint, didn't wait for her response. He shoved past, shoulder-checking her hard enough to make her stagger. You think snatching some old drive makes you queen? I'll bury you and your sob story before you blink. Aaliyah's back hit the wall, breath knocked out, but her fist clenched instantly, nails biting skin as fury ignited. His words slamming her like the boardroom humiliation amplified. Aaliyah didn't cower. She surged forward, voice slicing back. Bury me? Like you buried my dad. That USB screams your name. Reginald whirled, cutting her off with a bark. Shut it. You're nothing. A janitor's brat playing detective. He grabbed her arm, twisting just enough to bruise, his breath hot on her face. Drop it, or your mom's out on the street, permanently. The threat detonated. Aaliyah wrenched free, elbow jabbing his ribs in reflex, making him grunt and double over. Touch me again. I'll scream this building down. Harlan burst in then, drawn by the commotion. Reginald, what the hell? But the VP recovered fast, sneering. This pest's digging into old files. Family business. Stay out, Victor. The confrontation escalated in flashes. Reginald's hand shot out again, snatching the USB from Aaliyah's pocket. Mine now, he hissed, but she lunged, nails raking his wrist, drawing blood. Give it back, thief! Harlan intervened, yanking Reginald back. Enough! She's with me. Reginald's laugh barked cruelly. With you? Since when do we partner with trash? She's poison, spreading lies about your legacy. His emphasis on legacy hit like a hammer, eyes darting to Harlan with veiled threat, body language screaming entitlement born from blood ties. Aaliyah's pulse thundered, her breath short and sharp, reading his malice. Not just offense, but aggression. A predator cornered. Reginald didn't stop. He advanced on Harlan now, finger jabbing. You let her in? After I cleaned up your messes, like that engineer years ago? Harlan's face paled, fists tightening. Watch yourself, cousin. But Reginald interrupted. No, you watch. She's unraveling what I built. Fire her mom. End this. The dominoes tumbled. Aaliyah's outrage boiled over. Built on stolen data? That drive proves it. Reginald spun, slapping the air near her face. Prove nothing. You're done. Security rushed in, but Harlan barked. Stand down. Reginald, out. The VP stormed off, but not before hissing at Aaliyah. This isn't over. You'll regret crossing me. In the aftermath, Aaliyah's hands shook, adrenaline crashing, but she masked it with steel. He's the one, Harlan. Your family. He's hiding more. Harlan's nod was grim, regret flashing. I see it now. But he's blood, dangerous. Aaliyah's jaw set. Blood doesn't excuse crimes. We dig deeper. Ellis arrived, cane thumping. Heard the ruckus. That's your VP. Smells like rot. Aaliyah thrust the recovered USB at him. He tried to steal it. Let's crack it. Her voice cracked slightly, but resolve hardened, the encounter fueling her hunt. Reginald, meanwhile, retreated to his office, slamming the door so hard the frame rattled, his wound throbbing as he bandaged it hastily. That brat, I'll crush her, he muttered, dialing alleys. Leak it. Paint her as a thief. Now! His actions cascaded, anonymous tips firing to the media. Harlan Tech infiltrated by con artist kid. Aaliyah felt the first ripple, her phone buzzing with hate messages, but she deleted them with furious swipes. Won't break me. Harlan watched her, admiration mixing with fear. He's escalating. We need proof fast. The VP's emergence as foe sharpened the stakes. Aaliyah's bruises ached, but her spirit burned brighter, linking Harlan's tentative alliance to a brewing war. As they huddled over the drive, Reginald's shadow loomed larger, his thuggish grab a prelude to darker revelations, waiting in the files. Decrypt this now, or Reginald's goons will silence us before we crack his code. Aaliyah's demand exploded at Ellis, her fingers smashing keys on the laptop, the USB's files taunting them with locked barriers as Reginald's threat echoed in her bruised arm. Ellis didn't flinch. He yanked the drive, plugging it into his secure rig. Slow down, kid. Rushing gets you caught. But Aaliyah cut him off. Caught? We're already targets. That VP's eyes scream murder. Harlan paced behind, fists pounding his thighs. He's my blood, but if that drive ties him to your dad's firing, I'll gut him myself. The room, a makeshift war room in Ellis's cluttered Harlem office, crackled with urgency. Aaliyah's pulse hammering as she dove in, decoding file names in multiple languages. Arabic logs labeled Data Harvest Confidential. The investigation ignited in rapid strikes. Aaliyah's hands flew, cracking the first layer with a password. Guess Thompson, her dad's name unlocking emails from a decade back. Look, Reginald's signature. Terminate engineer for probing leaks. Her voice sliced the air, finger jabbing the screen, rage boiling as memories of her father's broken spirit flashed. His firing shattering their family. Ellis nodded sharply. Good hit, now cross-reference. Harlan interrupted. Wait, my approvals? No way. But Aaliyah shoved the laptop at him. See for yourself. Your sign-off on cleanup ops. Harlan's face drained, fists unclenching in shock. I trusted him. The revelation detonated. Aaliyah surged forward. Trusted a snake. Dig deeper. French memos here. Suppress minority data sources. She translated on the fly, words tumbling like bullets, exposing unethical harvesting from immigrant communities. Dominoes fell fast. Ellis phoned old contacts, a retired hacker ally, barking, run traces on these IPs, now. Aaliyah didn't wait, phoning her library network. Kids, scour public records for Harlan Tech scandals. Discreet. Responses flooded. Snippets of lawsuits buried. Witnesses silenced. Her breath came short, nails digging into palms as patterns emerged. Reginald's web of cover-ups, tying to her dad's insubordination as code for whistleblowing on data theft. Harlan slammed a wall. Bastard used me. But Aaliyah interrupted. Us! He ruined lives, mine included. She printed docs, stacking them with forceful thuds, each page a weapon building their arsenal. The probe escalated. They hit the streets, Aaliyah leading to her dad's old colleagues in Brooklyn Dives. Talk about Thompson's firing, she demanded of a jittery ex-engineer, her stare piercing. He hesitated. Reginald threatened me, said it'd cost my family. Aaliyah's fist banged the table. Cost more if you stay silent. Spill, he cracked. Your dad found data breaches, selling personal info from black neighborhoods. Reginald buried it, framed him. The confession hit like a hammer. Aaliyah's knees buckled momentarily, but she straightened, fury propelling her. Names, give me names. Harlan, trailing, wired funds anonymously. Bribe if needed. But Aaliyah snapped, no bribes, truth. Back at base, clues piled. Aaliyah decrypted more. Mandarin files on offshore partners linked to the billion-dollar deal. This isn't the past, it's now. Reginald's rigging current mergers on stolen data. Ellis's cane thumped agreement. Smart. Now interview the whistleblower list. They charged to a safe house, confronting a former VP aide. Reginald's orders? Aaliyah barked. The aide flinched. Yes, falsified reports, intimidated minorities. Aaliyah's questions fired rapidly. Proof? Emails? He handed a burner drive. Here, Spanish transcripts of threats. Translation poured from her, exposing Reginald's voice. Crush them before they talk. Tensions peaked. Reginald's shadows loomed. Anonymous calls threatening, drop it or the girl pays. Aaliyah's phone shattered against the wall. Let him try. Harlan blocked a tail car outside, ramming his vehicle in pursuit. Back off. The chase ended in a skid, but they escaped. Aaliyah's heart pounding. He's closing in. Faster. They hacked deeper, Aaliyah's multilingual edge unlocking Korean ledgers. Millions siphoned, tied to Reginald's accounts. Ellis grinned. Jackpot. But Harlan's confession burst. I suspected, but ignored. My fault. Aaliyah's glare cut. Own it. Help nail him. Manhunts intensified. Aaliyah infiltrated online forums, posing as a hacker. Leaks on Harlan VP? Responses surged, encrypted tips in German, which she decoded mid-thread. Reginald bribed officials. Proof attached. Files downloaded in a frenzy, her fingers blistering from typing. Harlan funded gear. Whatever you need. But Aaliyah refused luxury. Just justice. They confronted a key witness, a data analyst, in a tense dinner meeting. Talk, the analyst whispered. Reginald ordered hacks on minority databases. Your dad's discovery got him axed. Aaliyah's fist trembled. Evidence? A hidden file transferred. Italian audio, his voice admitting it. The grind wore on. Sleepless nights, Aaliyah chugging coffee, eyes bloodshot but unyielding. One more layer, Ellis pushed. Rest, she barked back. Can't, Dad didn't. Clues converged, a timeline pinning Reginald to fraud, linking past firings to present deals. Harlan's regret fueled action. I'll testify if needed. But Aaliyah's resolve hardened. We expose all. As fragments coalesced, the web tightened, Reginald's noose drawing closer. But their arsenal grew. Manhunts yielding smoking guns. Aaliyah's translations, the key unlocking each door. The process forged them tighter, her leadership unbreakable, setting the stage for the earth-shattering truth ahead. Reginald's the monster. He didn't just fire my dad. He orchestrated an empire of stolen lives, profiting off black data like we're commodities. Aaliyah's revelation detonated in the war room, her voice cracking the air as she slammed the final decrypted file onto the table, fingers trembling from the shockwave of truth. Ellis lunged forward. Show me, now! But Aaliyah shoved the screen at him. See? Emails chain. Harvest minority profiles, sell to the highest bidder. Reginald's orders, dated before Dad's firing. Harlan's chair scraped back violently, his face ashen, fists smashing down. Impossible. My own cousin? Aaliyah cut him. Possible. Proven. He built your billions on betrayal. The truth unraveled in brutal surges. Aaliyah's translations peeled layers. Korean ledgers showing offshore sales of personal data from Queens communities, health records, finances, locations, funneled to corporations for targeted exploitation. This isn't firing, it's systematic theft. Dad found it, threatened exposure, so Reginald framed him as unstable, leaked false psych evals. Her breaths heaved, chest tightening as memories assaulted. Her father's despair, jobless nights, the heart attack that claimed him. Ellis's cane pounded. Corroborate. Witness statements match? Aaliyah nodded fiercely. Yes, the analyst's audio. Reginald boasting. Crush whistleblowers. Data's goldmine. Harlan interrupted. But Aaliyah's glare silenced him. You enabled it. Ignored the signs. Dominoes crashed. Files linked Reginald to a network. Dark web sales, bribed officials, silenced victims through intimidation. Look, Spanish threats. Talk, and your family vanishes. Aaliyah's voice rose, fists gesturing wildly, piercing the horror. Data from black neighborhoods used for predatory loans, discriminatory AI, even election manipulations. He targeted us, people like me, Mom, because we're easy prey. Tears burned her eyes, but she blinked them away, rage overriding. Dad died broken because of this. Harlan staggered, clutching his chest. God, I profited from it. Ellis barked. Focus. This exposes the core. Reginald's not just corrupt. He's the architect of a racial data racket. The exposure deepened. Aaliyah cross-referenced timelines. Dad's notes from old boxes, matching file dates, his warnings ignored, Reginald's promotions following. He climbed on crushed backs, mine included. Her hands shook, decoding the last layer. French contracts with partners, laundering profits. Billions, your deal's tip of it. Harlan's denial burst. No, but Aaliyah overrode. Yes, current merger, built on the same stolen data. The room spun for him, regret crashing into horror. I built an empire on lies. Aaliyah's accusation flew. We all pay, but you'll help dismantle it. Ellis dove in. Legal angle, class action gold. But Aaliyah's mind raced ahead, printing evidence with frantic jabs. Not just legal, public. Expose him. Harlan nodded, broken. Agreed. But he's family. Dangerous. Aaliyah's laugh barked bitterly. Family? He destroyed mine. The revelation forged her sharper, pain transmuting to purpose, her translations the blade carving out justice. As the files closed, the weight settled. Aaliyah's shoulders squared, the truth of firestorm ready to consume Reginald's web. Harlan's alliance solidified in shared shock, but shadows hinted at retaliation, thrusting them toward confrontation. Back off, you worthless black leech. Dig any deeper, and I'll make sure your whole bloodline vanishes like your thieving dad. Reginald's snarl exploded in the dimly lit warehouse, his hand clamping Aaliyah's throat like a vice, fingers digging in as he shoved her against the cold metal wall, her feet dangling inches off the ground. Aaliyah gasped, nails raking his wrist, drawing blood that dripped hot on her skin, but her eyes blazed defiance. Let go, coward! That data racket's yours, not Dad's! Reginald tightened his grip, cutting her air. Shut up! You think a snot-nosed kid scares me? I'll snap you now. End this farce. His free hand yanked a knife from his belt, blade flashing as it pressed against her cheek, the threat slamming her pulse into overdrive. Aaliyah didn't beg. She kneed his groin hard, the impact doubling him over, her body dropping to the floor in a roll. You won't silence me like you did Dad. She scrambled up, lungs burning, fists swinging a wild punch that cracked his jaw. Reginald roared back, Bitch! His knife slashed, grazing her arm, blood blooming instant and sharp. The warehouse, Reginald's secret storage for shredded files, echoed their grunts, each clashing a domino. her dodge triggering his lunge, his miss fueling her counterkick to his knee, buckling him. "Harlan's weak, letting you in," he spat, interrupting her retort with a backhand that sent her sprawling, stars exploding in her vision. Harlan burst through the door then, drawn by Aaliyah's frantic text. "Warehouse, now!" His shout detonated. "Reginald, stop!" But the VP whirled, knife thrusting. "You, traitor cousin, siding with this trash?" Harlan charged, tackling him, fist pounding Reginald's ribs. "She's right. You built this on lies." Aaliyah seized the moment, lunging for scattered files on the floor, her fingers clawing paper as blood smeared the pages. Reginald broke free, boot stomping her hand. "No, you don't." Pain shot up her arm, bones crunching, but she yanked a folder loose. "Got it. Proof of your sales." Reginald's rage peaked. "Give it or die." The brawl intensified. Reginald's knife arced toward Harlan, who dodged, slamming a crate into his cousin's side, wood splintering. Aaliyah, hand throbbing, translated a snatched document on the fly. "Arabic receipts, millions from data brokers." She shouted it, voice raw. "You're done!" Reginald interrupted with a savage kick to her ribs. "Quiet!" Air whooshed from her lungs, body curling in agony, but she rolled away, clutching the folder. Harlan grappled Reginald. "For family. This?" Reginald headbutted him. "Family's profit, you soft fool." Blood streamed from Harlan's nose, but he pinned Reginald's arm, knife clattering free. Aaliyah's breaths ragged. She crawled to the knife, grabbing it with her good hand. "Back off, or I use this." Reginald laughed maniacally. "Do it, kid. Prove you're the animal I say." His taunt slammed her. Hesitation flickered, but fury won. She slashed the air near his face. "Animal? You're the beast, preying on us." Harlan yanked Reginald back. "Enough. Cops en route." But Reginald twisted free, grabbing Aaliyah's hair, yanking her head back. "Too late. She dies first." His fist cocked for the kill blow, her scalp screaming pain. Ellis's cane cracked across Reginald's skull from behind. The mentor had tailed them. "Not today." Reginald crumpled, dazed, the intervention a hammer blow. Aaliyah broke free, gasping, knife dropping as she clutched her wounds. "Thanks, but he's not down." Reginald surged up. "You'll all pay." But sirens wailed distant, his escape thwarted. Harlan restrained him. "It's over, cousin." Reginald's spit flew. "Never, my network's bigger." Aaliyah, ribs aching, rifled the folder. "Network? Here's the list. Names, dates, all tied to you." Her voice steadied, pain fueling clarity, the confrontation forging her unbreakable. Reginald's eyes widened in defeat. "You ruin everything." She met his glare. "No, you did, for profit over people." The dust settled in gasps. Aaliyah's body screamed agony, but triumph burned hotter, the face-off exposing Reginald's core rot. As cops stormed in, Harlan's alliance cemented in blood, but the real battle loomed, final evidence still hidden, pulling them toward the ultimate takedown. "Run, Aaliyah! Grab the files before this bastard wakes and finishes us both!" Harlan's shout exploded as he hauled Reginald's limp body against the warehouse wall, zip-tying his wrist with cable from a crate, his knuckles bleeding from the brawl. Aaliyah didn't hesitate. She bolted across the debris-strewn floor, ribs screaming fire with every step, her slashed arm dripping blood that slicked her grip. "Where, damn it?" She kicked over boxes, papers flying like shrapnel, her good hand rifling through. "The evidence! He hid it here!" Ellis, cane-braced, scanned with flashlight. "Hurry! Sirens close, but his goons are closer." Reginald stirred, groaning. "You won't win." Aaliyah's boot pressed his chest. "Watch us. Your empire crumbles now." Escape ignited in chaos. Aaliyah snatched a locked briefcase from under a tarp, smashing the latch with a loose pipe, metal bending under her frantic blows. Files spilled, ledgers, thumb drives, burned CDs labeled in code. "This, everything!" Her voice cut sharp, stuffing them into her backpack, pulse thundering as Reginald thrashed. "Stop her! Harlan slugged him silently. Shut it. Your game's up. But doors banged. Goons bursting in. Guns drawn. Boss? Intruders! Aaliyah dove behind crates. Backpack clutched. Out the back! Now! Ellis fired a flare gun from his coat. Blinding flash detonating. Screams echoing as they scrambled through a side exit. Bullets whizzing past. The chase pounded on. Aaliyah's legs pumped fire. Ribs stabbing with each breath. But adrenaline surged. Can't stop. Proof's in here. Harlan scooped her up mid-stride. Faster. My car's blocks away. Ellis lagged, cane thumping. Go, I'll distract. But Aaliyah yanked back. No, together. Gunshots cracked behind, goons closing. Harlan rammed a dumpster into their path, metal screeching as it toppled, buying seconds. They piled into the car, engine roaring to life, tires screeching out. Drive, anywhere safe, Aaliyah barked, backpack dumped on her lap, fingers already prying a drive. Laptop, plug this. Safe house reached. Ellis's fortified basement. Aaliyah slammed the door, barricading with furniture, her wounds throbbing, but ignored. Decrypt, fast! She thrust the drive at Ellis. Passwords, try harvest from the memos. Harlan bandaged her arm roughly. You're bleeding out. Rest. Aaliyah shoved him. Rest? When will this nail him? The computer word, files unlocking. Master lists of data sales, victim names, thousands from black communities sold for profit. See? Dad's name. Silenced, successful. Tears stung, but she blinked fury. He killed him indirectly. Stress, cover-ups. Ellis's fingers flew. Deeper, financial trails. Harlan interrupted. My accounts too? Aaliyah's nod sliced. Tainted, all yours. Evidence mounted in barrages. Aaliyah translated encrypted notes. German contracts for silent acquisitions. Her voice rising. Millions laundered. Reginald's cut hidden in shells. Harlan paced, fists hammering walls. Bastard used me as shield. But Aaliyah cut. Focus. Cross-check with Dad's notes. She pulled her notebook, matching dates. Here, his warnings ignored, Reginald's responses, threats in Italian. The puzzle snapped. Full chain. Data theft from minorities. Sold to biased AI firms. Profits funding Harlan Tech's rise. This undeniable court proof. Ellis printed stacks. Witnesses next. Call 'em. Calls fired rapidly. Aaliyah dialed the ex-analyst. Safe? Send more. Now. His voice cracked. Goons at my door. But here's an audio link. Download complete. Playback blasting. Reginald's voice. Bury the leaks. Frame minorities as frauds. Aaliyah's fist clenched. Got him. Admitting racial targeting. Harlan phoned board allies. Leak this internally. Turn on him. But interruptions came. Pounding upstairs, goons tracking. Barricade! Aaliyah shoved furniture, heart slamming. Buy time. Upload backups. Ellis encrypted files to the cloud. Done. Untouchable. The siege tightened. Goons rammed the door. Open, or we burn it. Aaliyah's mind raced, spotting vents. Escape route. Crawl. Harlan boosted her up. Go first, smallest. She wriggled through, dust choking, emerging alley side, signaling, out, hurry! Ellis followed, cane clattering. Harlan last, door bursting as they fled. Car, go! Tires screeched again, evading pursuit in twists. Aaliyah, in the back, sifted more. Final piece, Reginald's ledger, signatures on deals. Her translation sealed it. Mandarin partners confirming ethnic data exclusivity. Regrouped at a motel, Aaliyah collapsed on the bed, wounds bandaged properly now, but spirit unbowed. We have it, all. Harlan's gratitude burst. You led this, brave as hell. Ellis nodded. Kid's a force. But Aaliyah's eyes hardened. Not done, confront at the shareholder meet. Evidence compiled, her pain transmuted to steel, the hunt's end forging unbreakable proof. As files secured, Aaliyah's resolve burned. The evidence, a weapon poised for the kill, linking their escape to the impending Vaxtran, where Reginald's fall awaited. Lies, all lies, you framed my dad. stole our lives for your filthy profits, and now the world sees your racist empire for the trash it is. Aaliyah's accusation thundered across the shareholder hall, her voice a blade slashing through the murmurs. Microphone gripped like a weapon as she thrust the evidence folder high, papers fluttering like confetti of condemnation. Reginald, center stage in his tailored suit, spun toward her. "Security! Remove this delusional brat!" But Aaliyah dodged the guard's grab, elbow jabbing one in the gut. "Touch me, and I'll sue you blind." The crowd gasped, phones flashing. The high-stakes meeting in Harlan Tech's grand auditorium detonating into chaos. Execs shifting uneasy, investors whispering fury. Harlan stepped forward, voice booming. "Stand down. She speaks the truth." He yanked the projector remote, beaming the decrypted files. Ledgers glowing on the massive screen, Reginald's signatures damning in red highlights. "See this? Data theft from black communities. Sold for billions. My cousin's doing it." Reginald lunged for the remote. "Fabrication! Shut it off!" But Aaliyah intercepted, her boots stomping his foot. "No more hiding." The screen flickered to audio playback, Reginald's voice echoing, "Crush minorities. Their data's free gold." Gasps erupted. A shareholder bolted up. "What the hell?" Reginald's denial barked. "Edited lies." But Aaliyah overrode. "Proven. Witnesses here." The Lat-Keo ignited. Aaliyah signaled Ellis, who wheeled in witnesses, the ex-analyst charging the stage. "I recorded it. Reginald ordered frames." Reginald swung a fist. "Traitor!" Missing but sparking a brawl, guards tackling him as Harlan restrained. "Enough! Face it!" Aaliyah's commands fired. "Play the video! Now!" Footage rolled. Warehouse fight. Reginald's knife threats captured on hidden cam Ellis planted. Investors roared, "Arrest him!" Reginald thrashed, "Victor! Blood! Help me!" Harlan's retort sliced, "Blood! You poisoned ours! Disowned!" Dominoes tumbled rapid. Aaliyah translated live from files. Mandarin partners confess. Reginald bribed for exclusive ethnic data. A board member slammed his fist. "We're complicit?" Panic spread, stocks plummeting on live feeds. Reginald broke free momentarily, grabbing Aaliyah's arm. "You'll pay! Gutter rat!" She twisted, kneeing his side. "Pay? Like you paid for Dad's life?" The crowd surged, phones recording, and a viral storm brewing. Harlan amplified. "Evidence irrefutable, FBI incoming." Reginald's face crumpled, but he spat. "You win nothing. Network protects me." Aaliyah's climax peaked. She seized the mic. "Network? Dismantled. Names here." Projecting the list. Bribed officials, shell companies, gasps turning to shouts. An investor lunged. "Ruined us!" Guards pinned Reginald fully now, cuffs clicking as cops stormed in. Ellis's tip-off. "You're under arrest. Fraud. Conspiracy." Reginald's roar. "No, Victor, stop them." Harlan's glare. "I called them. Rot." Aaliyah's voice rose triumphant. "For Dad, for all crushed by you." Applause thundered, but she didn't bask. Shove files at prosecutors. "Nail him. Full exposure." The fallout cascaded. Media swarmed outside, Aaliyah facing cameras. "Truth wins. No more silence." Harlan backed her. "Reforms start today. Clean slate." But Reginald's final hiss was dragged away. "This isn't over. Revenge." Aaliyah's laugh barked. "Try, from prison." The hall emptied in frenzy, her wounds from the warehouse aching but ignored, victory pulsing through veins. In the quiet aftermath, Aaliyah clutched the folder, the Vach Tran forging justice from chaos, her leadership unbreakable. Harlan's alliance sealed in public redemption, but whispers of Reginald's network lingered, hinting deeper threats. Yet for now the Lat-Keo shattered his hold, paving for resolution. "Guilty, on all counts. You stole lives, Reginald, and now justice strips you bare like the thief you are." The judge's gavel cracked down like thunder in the packed courtroom. Aaliyah's voice echoing the verdict from the witness stand. Her fists clenched so tight, knuckles whitened, eyes locked on Reginald's crumbling facade as he slumped in chains, face twisting in defeat. Reginald surged against his restraints. "Lies framed by that black brat." but the bailiff yanked him back. Sit or add contempt. The room erupted. Gasps from spectators, flashes from media, Aaliyah's heart slamming triumph as years of buried pain surfaced in that single blow. Reginald didn't yield easily. He lunged verbally. Appeal! My network's ironclad! Aaliyah cut him. Network? Shattered. Like your lies. Prosecutors piled on, thrusting evidence. Decrypted files projected large. Reginald's signatures glaring. Data theft, fraud, conspiracy, life sentence. His lawyer objected. Mitigate. Family ties. But Harlan interrupted from the gallery. No ties. He's poison. The judge overruled, evidence damns him. Aaliyah's testimony replayed in her mind. Translations nailing his multilingual schemes. He targeted us. Black data for white profits. Jurors nodded, their verdict a hammer to his empire. The unraveling cascaded. Cops hauled Reginald out, his snarls fading. You'll regret this. Revenge. Aaliyah stood tall, ribs still tender from the warehouse, but spirit unbroken. Regret? You do, rotting away. Outside, the media swarmed. Hero girl, comment? She fired back. Justice for dad for all. Harlan flanked her. Company's clean, full disclosure. But knots untied deeper. FBI raids on accomplices, arrests rippling, bribed officials cuffed mid-denial, data brokers fleeing but caught. Network dismantled, Ellis barked over the phone. Your translations sealed it. Reginald's appeals crumbled. Courts rejected pleas. Evidence ironclad. Aaliyah's folder the key, her words the lockpick. No mercy, she whispered, watching news. His assets seized, victims compensated. Harlan's confession aided. I enabled. Now I atone. The judge's final slam. Life without parole. Aaliyah's exhale released years of weight, fists unclenching as closure hit. Dad's ghost avenged. Yet justice's edge cut both ways. Aaliyah's bruises faded, but scars lingered, fueling her forward. As Reginald vanished behind bars, the resolution pulsed, tying loose ends, company audits, victim funds established. Harlan's hand on her shoulder. We did it. Her nod firm. For now. The courtroom emptied in echoes, Aaliyah stepping into light. Justice's weight lifting, but purpose sharpening, linking retribution to rebuilding ahead. Sign it now, Harlan. Pour your billions into this fund, or your redemption is just empty words from a guilty suit. Aaliyah's challenge exploded in the boardroom remnants, her fingers stabbing the contract on the table, eyes locking Harlan's in a vice of demand as he hesitated, pen hovering. Harlan's hand shook, but he slammed it down. Done! Every cent for the victims. The ink flowed, sealing a $500 million trust for data breach survivors. Black communities hit hardest, his signature a hammer blow to his old self. Aaliyah didn't flinch. Not enough. Reform the company, too. No more biased AI. Harlan nodded sharply. Agreed. Full overhaul starts today. The action surged. Harlan barked orders at execs. Divest tainted assets now. Phones rang off hooks, lawyers scrambling as he wired initial funds. $100 million instant. Checks cut for families like Aaliyah's. Your dad's pension, restored, tripled. He thrust a document at her. And scholarships, thousands for Queen's kids. Aaliyah's fists unclenched slightly. Prove it. Public launch. Harlan charged ahead. Press conference, tomorrow. You announce. Her nod was curt. Fine, but no spin. Truth only. Ellis interrupted. Smart, but watch backlash. Aaliyah overrode. Backlash? We'll crush it. Rebuilding ignited in waves. Harlan stormed through offices, firing holdouts. Out, anyone tied to Reginald's mess. Doors slammed, boxes packed in frenzy, his commands detonating changes. New policies banning data discrimination, diversity hires mandated. Aaliyah led audits, her translations dissecting old contracts. Here, cut this clause, it's predatory. Harlan's approval flew. Done, rewrite. Victims flooded in, stories pouring. Lost homes to your loans, one barked. Harlan faced them. Compensate, full. Checks handed, tears met with his bowed head. My fault, fixed now. The scale ballooned. Harlan pledged company profits, 20% to the fund annually. Board resisting. Bankruptcy. He slammed back. Better broke than broken souls. Aaliyah amplified. Or we expose more. Resistance crumbled, votes flipping. Community centers rose in Queens. Language labs named for her dad. Aaliyah cutting ribbons. For the overlooked, rise. Kids swarmed, her classes expanding. Teach them. Words as weapons. Harlan funded tech. Laptops distributed, her hands thrusting them out. Learn, fight back. Personal atonement deepened. Harlan visited Janice. Your job promoted, management. Janice's slap nearly landed. Earn it. But Aaliyah meditated. He will watch. Harlan knelt. Forgive. No, but let me prove. Janice's nod grudging. Actions, not words. He complied, shadowing janitors. Learn from bottom. His back ached from mopping, but resolve hardened. Never dismiss again. Hope cascaded, the media hailed. Harlan's turnaround. Hero girl leads. Aaliyah faced cameras. Not hero, survivor. Fund heals. Donations poured. Harlan matching. Double it. Global reach expanded. Partnerships with civil rights groups. Aaliyah negotiating. No deals without equity. Harlan's concessions flew. Agreed. Full transparency. Yet doubts nagged. Threats from Reginald's remnants. Anonymous calls. Stop or pay. Aaliyah's phone shattered against the wall. Bring it. We're stronger. Harlan fortified security. Protect her, always. The fund's first gala. Black tie in Queens. Aaliyah emceed. From pain to power. Harlan toasted. To Aaliyah, my teacher. Applause thundered, her smile cracking through scars. The massive redemption forged bonds. Harlan's empire reborn ethically, Aaliyah's fire channeling into legacy. As funds flowed, healing spread, linking justice to enduring hope, paving for a finale of unity and lessons etched deep. Stand tall, Aaliyah. You didn't just win justice. You rebuilt a world where voices like yours echo forever, shattering chains we all ignored too long. Harlan's proclamation thundered in the newly christened Thompson Community Center in Queens, his hand clamping Aaliyah's shoulder like a vow sealed in iron. The crowd's roar slamming back as she stepped to the podium, her chin lifting defiant, eyes sweeping the sea of faces. Kids, mothers, elders, who mirrored her journey from shadows to light. Aaliyah didn't smile softly. She gripped the mic. No more silence. We speak, we rise. The applause detonated, her words slicing through years of buried pain, forging a new family from the ashes of betrayal. The culmination surged in waves. Aaliyah charged forward, unveiling plaques. Thompson Language Wing. For Dad, for us. Harlan cut the ribbon with forceful snips. Funded fully, classes free, tech endless. Kids swarmed, fingers jabbing tablets. Teach us, Aaliyah. She dove in, switching languages mid-sentence. Arabic for strength, kwa. Use it. Her commands barked, arms gesturing sharp, turning lessons into battles won. Each child echoing her defiance, fists pumping as they mastered phrases that armed them against the world. Janice flanked her, tears unshed, but pride blazing. You did this, baby. Aaliyah's hug crushed. We did. Family unbreakable. Bonds deepened. Harlan knelt before a group of victims. Forgive. No, but take this. Checks thrust out, millions distributed. Reparations. Real. One man gripped his hand. You changed. Harlan's nod grim. She changed me. Aaliyah interrupted. Action over words. Expand the fund. Harlan complied, writing more. Global Now centers in every borough. The media captured it, from scandal to salvation. But Aaliyah shoved cameras. Not heroes, survivors. Learn the lesson. Bias kills, truth revives. The new family solidified in actions. Weekly meetings at the center, Harlan scrubbing floors alongside Janice. Learn humility. His back ached, but he persisted. Owe you this. Aaliyah moderated debates. Share stories. No holding back. Voices rose. Fists gesturing. Lost jobs to your AI. Fix it. Harlan's reforms flew. Done. Algorithms audited. Bias purged. Ellis's cane thumped approval. Kid leads. We follow. Aaliyah's retort. Together or fail. The future bloomed bright. Aaliyah enrolled in accelerated programs. Law school next. Fight from inside. Harlan sponsored. Full ride on your terms. She charged classes. Translating dreams. Mandarin for ambition. Yexin. Grab it. Kids mirrored, their shouts echoing her fire. A chain reaction of empowerment. Community events exploded. Galas where victims spoke. Fists raised. No more theft. Harlan toasted. To Aaliyah, catalyst. Her glass clinked. To all, united. Lessons etched deep. Aaliyah addressed crowds. Bias isn't an accident, it's choice. Choose the truth. Harlan echoed. I chose wrong, now right. Subplots resolved. Reginald's remnants arrested, his whispers silenced in prison visits. Aaliyah refused. Rot alone. Janice promoted, leading staff. No more bowing. Ellis mentored youth. Cane's yours one day. Aaliyah's laugh barked. Not yet. More fights. The finale pulsed in a symbolic march. Queen streets filled, Aaliyah leading. Chant, justice now. Fists pumped, voices unified, Harlan marching beside. My past, your future. At the center's mural, Dad's face painted large, Aaliyah touched it. We won. Tears fell then, but she wiped fiercely. For you. In quiet moments, Aaliyah reflected. Lesson, courage isn't age, it's fire within. Harlan nodded. You taught me. Prejudice blinds. Listening heals. The family expanded. Adopted allies. Shared meals where stories flowed. Remember the warehouse. Knife to my throat. Laughter mixed with resolve. Never again. Subthreads tied. Scholarships awarded. First graduates returning as teachers. Your turn. Lead. Hope's legacy endured. Aaliyah's notebook filled with new languages for the next battle. Harlan's company thrived ethically. Profits shared. Equity first. Community healed. Scars fading into strength. Final image. Aaliyah at podium, crowd silent. Truth isn't given. Seized. Seize it. Always. The journey closed in unity. Aaliyah's fire illuminating paths. Lessons carved eternal. Defy bias. Embrace truth. Build unbreakable bonds. As the center's doors swung wide, welcoming all, the future gleamed. A world remade by one girl's unyielding voice. In the end, Aaliyah's story reminds us that courage knows no age or background. True justice begins when we speak up against bias and corruption, turning silence into strength and empowering the voices of the overlooked to reshape the world. What about you? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever faced injustice and found the power to fight back? We'd love to hear your stories and how they've inspired change. Thank you for watching and joining us on this journey. If this moved you, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We'll see you in the next one. Stay strong.